about a week ago now, you had undergone some basic information gathering for Mr. Nakatomi, who's the Delphi Council Deputy Director in this area. You'd been involved in some intelligence gathering in relation to the efforts of the Nile to regain the area around Mecca, which they have done. But you were able to put some blocks in their way. And you were waiting late at night in a railway yard for a contact who you were told would have a new mission for you. The contact arrived in a beaten up car being driven by a weird science robot, and the dispatch was: "This is DC Middle East Division Dispatch. Informants and radio traffic all point to a big move by Dr. Morbius, a real Hail Mary play. Several of his favorite personal sorcerers congregating at the site of biblical Mount Sinai, attempting to ascertain via magic the locations of not one, but many eternity shards in one fell swoop. Possible treasures include the Spear of Longinus, a piece of the True Cross, Moses' staff, the Holy Grail, and the Ark of the Covenant. If this is true, the ritual must be disrupted at all costs. Proceed to Al Fedrin Airfield, South Suburban Cairo. Take possession of the Fokker Ramses aircraft, labeled Reggie's Charter. Fly to coordinates secreted in the plane. This mission is high priority. Destroy this document after reading. End." And you have essentially followed the instructions. A car chase ensued, with your car initially being driven quite effectively by the aforementioned weird science robot called RoboHack, who was a robot with a robotic Bronx accent until he got a couple of, they plugged him, according to his own words, and Father Theo overtook, who was a robot with. You managed to get your way to the airfield. You have found the aforementioned aircraft, Reggie's Charter. You have just secreted yourselves on board, done a quick recce of the equipment that you have got. There isn't much. For example, there are only 2 parachutes. And you were taxiing down the runway and just took off. Within seconds of the wheels leaving the tarmac, you all heard the deep booming noise of an ACAC gun. Ryoko is currently the one in the pilot seat, and those of you that aren't can look through, which isn't a big plane. If you want to know what it looks like, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, you know the plane they're in at the beginning of that? It's that plane. Okay.
Cool.
You can see off to the far end of the runway, off to the right, the telltale muzzle flare of a large caliber anti-aircraft gun is going off. And yes, Sam can fly.
I remember that.
So, you've got a couple of rounds before you're out of danger. If somebody is going to take over the controls of the plane, you just need to know if it's actually going to be Ryoko that is still driving, or if somebody else is taking over.
I think that's probably the best.
Okay. One option you've also got, Dr. Dick, you've taken a couple of moments' time to just survey the otherwise bullet-riddled chassis of RoboHack, and you think that given a few minutes that you might be able to salvage something of him. It's not something you can do in a couple of rounds, but you might be able to get him working in a pinch. Whoever is doing the flight checks, that will be off of Ryoko's skill, which rolls off of an 11. So, the plane had taxied down the runway, so you're actually round about here now, if I zoom in a little bit at this point. Have we still got the right-click options to sync the view? That's sharing. Stop sharing, share record. No, this is the issue. We're going to have to now find where's all the stuff to sync the client view. Is it in the drop down? No, that
So
seems
that's
to fit.
the menus at the top.
No, they're still there on mine, but I need to sync client view. View. Sync client view. Has everyone's view changed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see 3 Nile Empire shock troopers. Any of you with the ability to see or looking in that direction can see that there are 3 headdress clad, naked to the waist figures. One is behind on the ACAT gun. The other 2 are obviously doing some kind of maintenance, and they are tracking or beginning to track in your direction. So who in round 1 is going to make the rolls for?
Right, okay. I think you're trying to say.
We enter into a thundering calamity in round 1.
What are we doing? Dramatic? Standard?
Standard currently.
The other one?
You guys are stymied, meaning whatever Ryoko does is going to be at a -2. And you can see that they are trying at this point to get a bead on you. You're not entirely sure how many hits this plane can take.
Our cards are still in our action pool?
We'll keep it that way for now. Yeah, you don't have to restart your action pool right now.
You have to do what that card says.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, let's not be mean then. Put all your cards from your pool back into your hand. That's probably the better situation. Well, you're not refreshed because you're still in a scene at the moment. But yes, you would go to a maximum of 5 if you've got more than that. So who's going to roll for Ryoko? I'm assuming she's probably going to take evasive action. Oh, and Durak, are you putting one of the 2 parachutes on?
Yeah, I said that's why I said I have no idea how to use it. It's probably going to be bad for me, but
well, it's a higher tech value than your own tech, so that would mean you are going to be at least a 1-case contradiction.
I'll just sit there and do no dice rolls.
That's all right. If Surge comes up, that's what it's there for.
Oh God, no. Right? Okay, I'm happy with that. I'd rather live than die.
Now, unusually for a plane of this size, it would appear that the windows do actually crank open. So if you do wish to take pot shots at the ground, you're able to do so. However, the scale on the map is not, as it would otherwise indicate, 1 meter per square. It's 10 meters